Hello everyone, Hiawatha Productions here. Welcome back to another video. In this video we are doing another train simulator quick drive video. So just like last time, I'm just going to have a look around my assortment of DLC and reinstalled content, pick a consist, and we'll just take it for a little drive. Before we do that, I would like to clarify a plethora of mistakes I made previously when talking about the Night Owl, which I drove last time. So firstly, I was only partly right when I said they were built in 1922. The prototype locomotive, 4700, was built in 1919, and then the remaining production locomotives, so 4701 to 4708, were built between 1922 and 1923. And they wound up being withdrawn between 1962 and 1964. And additionally, they did indeed work mostly nocturnal services, but they also sometimes hauled passenger trains during the summer months. So that covers some of like the basic mistakes that I made. So like I said, I'm probably going to make mistakes like that. These videos are not scripted at all. I just do, you know, I just do and say things on the fly for the sake of you guys' entertainment and also my own as well. So if I say something that may seem factual, take it with a grain of salt and please do your own research. I do not like the idea of spreading misinformation around for people to take as gospel. Then again, not a whole lot of people watch these videos anyways, but still, I feel like I should have, at the very least, put that out there for those of you who are into the history of railways and whatnot. But in any case, to business, we are going to look through my DLC and we're going to pick something out. I'll be sticking with British stuff for the time being, as I already had my fill of American stock a couple of weeks ago. So we're just going to have a look around and see what I can cook up. It's probably going to be a steam engine again. Probably will be for, the sorry about that, for the next couple quick drive sessions that we do. I did a Caledonia Works engine, so I'm going to look and see if I might be able to find something by a different person to kind of switch things up a little bit, but chances are we are probably going to end up driving another one of Caledonia Works's locomotives, which is perfectly fine by me, but, all the same. Ooh, I think I'm going to give this guy another chance. So this is the Lancashire and Yorkshire Class 5, but this is specifically the consist with the Matrix Trains coaches. We are going to drive the seven set corridor club train. I think this one has a different variety of coaches. Uh, yeah, I think that sounds right. So now we're gonna pick a route. We already did the Riviera line in the 50s, so let's go have a look here and pick something a little bit different, but I don't want it to be too long. Okay. I think we're gonna do Stainmore, Shap, and Eden Valley Railway. Just need to find a short route for us to do. So I think we'll do. We'll do Barnard Castle, 1960, and we will go to. Let's go to Clifton Moor. I have no idea how far this is. I won't know until we actually get on, so this may end up being a pretty decent length video, especially if I can actually drive this thing over the hill. That's going to be a real challenge for me. But it should be fun. We're going to set the time of year to summer with clear weather conditions. And I'm going to go ahead and roll the time back to 7 a.m. like so. That's 8 a.m. There we go, 7 a.m. So we have an early morning commute in the summer months. I think that should be fine. Hopefully this works. I have had issues in the past with this particular route not wanting to work on occasion, so fingers crossed that it does work this time. Uh, I did get it to work a couple of times, but you know, we'll just have to wait and see, I suppose. Hopefully this is still going. This is taking a lot of processing power from my laptop to keep going like this, so fingers crossed. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to the loading screen up here, but that was the Aberdeen to Peterhead line, the Buchan line. I think that's how it's pronounced. I will probably be purchasing that at some point when funds are available, and I will do some quick drive runs on that, especially since that I believe it's based off of a line previously run by the L&YR. Not 100% certain about that, but even if it isn't, it looks very nice. For nothing but good things about it, so wouldn't hurt to give it a try. Here we are. Yeah, this looks a lot nicer now. In the summer, with the sun up high, well, not up high, but kind of up over there, like so. So here's the engine. This is the version with 2 whistles and 3 digits on the number plate. If we look here at the plate, this is one of the locos built in 1889. I'm not sure if that's true or if it just says that, but whatever. Apologies if you're having a hard time hearing me over the god-awful safety valve. I'm still trying to mess around with the volume and whatnot, and haven't quite figured it out. But this is one of the livery variants that they have in the L&YR Class 5 pack. I will include a link in the description for this particular pack, as well as the enhancement pack that I downloaded from Golden Age Developments to get rid of the bluing on the textures, so it looks a heck of a lot nicer now. But yeah, this is one of the L&YR livery variants. There is this one where it says Lancashire and Yorkshire on the side like that. There's another one where it's arched. And I think that might be it for L&YR, and if that's not it, then I believe there's a version where it doesn't say yeah, there's another one. It doesn't say Lancashire and Yorkshire on the side, it is just this, but it's blank and it has the number/builder's plate right there. Each engine has a chance to come with either 1 or 2 whistles. This one has 2 whistles, and I don't know if this is included in the pack, but some locomotives also had a little apparatus up here, up along this side of the running board, right behind the suspension spring over the front pony wheel. I think it was like a jack or something like that. I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me on that. But this is a gorgeous engine by Caledonia Works, and if we come down here along the side of the consist, we can look at some of the coaches. So these are all by Matrix Trains. These are their Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway bogie coaches. They also have some 6-wheel coaches, which I also have. I just wanted to drive with these ones here. If we come down here, this is their first class coach. As nice as these coaches are, I will say, not a huge fan of the people inside of them. The textures are definitely really strange, but I love the small little details and whatnot that they put in here. Like, Railworks create havoc on network. That's a very nice little touch. And even if you look inside the coaches behind the people, you have little paintings and pictures and whatnot. I believe they're kind of just cookie cutter images, but all the same, they look very, very nice and add a nice level of realism to it. Right here is the club carriage, because we're driving the club train. Another first class carriage up there. Third class, and then another third class brake, which unfortunately is the wrong way around. This, I don't know if it bothers a whole lot of people, but this is something that bothers me when the brake coaches are not facing the correct direction on the train. Like, the compartment here should be on the side that's facing outwards, in my opinion. I don't fully know whether or not that has to be done in practice and whatnot, but all the same, it looks weird to me if it doesn't look like that. So I'm just going to give this a random head code that is totally inaccurate because I'm unfamiliar with the head codes for the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I'm gonna press function F5 twice. I'm gonna set the brakes off. There we go. Gonna let the brakes off. Cylinder cocks are open. I don't think this engine has auto fireman, so I'm gonna have to control it myself, which is fine by me. We're gonna set the brakes to running, which I believe is, we'll set it to 34%. Then press E to unlock the reverser and open that up to forward. And with that, I think we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and show you the whistles. So since it has 2 whistles, you press spacebar for the main whistle. Then you press B for the secondary whistle. And this is a very nice little detail, but if you look here, you can see the rods going down for the whistles. However, rather unfortunately, the rod for the main whistle goes down when the secondary one is pulled. So that's like a very minor discrepancy with the model. I don't know whether or not that's a glitch with my example or if that's just how the coding wound up being modeled. Because again, this comes with a 1 and 2 whistle variant. Maybe that was just a minor glitch in the programming. But either way, I don't mind. I think the model itself still looks really good. And enough of this yapping. Let's go ahead and get on the move. Set the regulator to forwards. And now that we're moving, the signal finally drops for us. So yeah, this is the Stainmore Shap and Eden Valley Railway route. This is by, it's by Steam Sound Supreme, I believe. I don't know the names of the individuals specifically who are responsible for it, but this is genuinely a very beautiful route. It's got some nice scenery, a good assortment of locomotives and rolling stock. I can very highly recommend it to anyone who may be interested. I'm going to press F3 so we can look at the speed limits. Yeah, this is a genuinely gorgeous route. Plenty of hill climbs on it, so this is definitely not for the inexperienced driver like myself. I'm still getting some practice in on it. But with that being said, it's still a very fun route to drive, and it really puts your skills as a driver on Train Simulator to the test. It certainly tested my patience on a number of occasions when pulling heavy trains up the hill. In real life, the Lancashire and Yorkshire Class 5s did work on inclines and whatnot a good bit, so I am certainly hoping that it will be able to handle this train at least fairly nicely when going up the gradients, but we soon shall see. Alright, just gotta make sure that we don't speed. I'm gonna try my best not to get called out for speeding while on this run. And I believe we're approaching an incline. Yes, we are very steep one at that, so this will definitely be interesting, to say the least. But, computer's definitely handling it a lot better than it did the Caledonia Works consist. Like I mentioned in passing, it sometimes has a bit of trouble running OBS and Train Simulator at the exact same time, but, you know, what can you do? It's not like I'm running on a gaming PC or anything like that, but maybe one day I will. How close are we? Alright, we're at the foot of the gradient and we've started going up. I'd imagine we're probably going to start slowing down soon. Yep, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and switch to F4 and we're going to start shoveling coal into the firebox. I don't know if this is the same for all engines, but I have definitely found that to help maximize power output is to get the fire nice and hot and keep the water level at a pretty decent level, excuse me. Okay, keep the fire burning hot, and then make sure that the water level is above about 60% on this engine in particular. Now we're going to take a look at the map real quick and see where we need to go. So we need to stop here at Clifton Moor, and if we find where we are, oh, we are all the way over here. Alright, so we have definitely got a very long way to go. We're basically at the end of the route. I don't think we're going to get that far. I think what we'll probably do is go to Stainmore and stop there, because I do not have a whole lot of time to drive that distance, and I don't know how well anyone's going to like me driving that far, since I do not intend to cut this video up in any way, shape, or form. This is just supposed to be a nice, chill gaming session without a whole lot of editing. Put the camera over to this end. I'm going to start putting water in the boiler. We're going to turn the reverser up a little bit, get some more power down. Yeah, there we go. Right, so while we are doing that, I am going to do a very brief history lesson on the class. Do not want to clip into that, it looks awkward. So like I said, I'm going to do a pretty brief history lesson on the Lancashire and Yorkshire Class 5s. So they were designed by the Chief Mechanical Engineer of the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway, John Aspinall, and they were introduced from 1889 for local passenger work. Later batches included several modifications like extended coal bunkers and bell pair fireboxes, and some even received Hughes smoke boxes in the LMS days. The last batch of the class were built from 1911 to 1914 under George Hughes, and they incorporated superheated boilers to give an increased in tractive effort, and others that were of a earlier design were rebuilt to this standard to help improve their power and longevity. When Hughes introduced his classification system in 1919, the superheated locomotives were designated Class 6 instead of Class 5. The last examples were withdrawn in 1961, with withdrawal for the class starting as early as 1927. Of the 310 examples produced, only one has been preserved, and that is number 1008, and it is currently at the National Railway Museum in York. And little fun fact about it, I've kind of heard this through the grapevine, so I don't know how accurate it is, but I believe the funnel, or the chimney, whatever you call it, on the locomotive is actually not made of metal, it's made of wood. It's the wood casting for the funnel design, as its old one was completely worn out and needed to be replaced due to excessive wear, if I'm not mistaken. And rather than build a new one from scratch, they just took the cast from the workshop and slapped it on the top of the locomotive, and it's been up there ever since. Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but if that is indeed the case, then I find that very amusing that the funnel of a steam engine is made of wood. As we all know, using wood on a steam engine is not exactly the best choice, especially on parts that are more prone to catching fire, like the brakes, if you catch my meaning. I absolutely love this class of engine. It is definitely one of my favorites. I have a model of it in 00 gauge. The one that I have is the one by Bachmann, number 1042. which was part of the 1890 batch. Absolutely beautiful engines. Caledonia Works did an excellent job with this particular model. It's definitely one of my favorites by them, and I am genuinely so glad to have this as part of my collection of their stuff. They do a fantastic job. I love the animated valve gear here. I don't know what kind of valve gear it is. I think it's Joy valve gear. I could be wrong though. If someone knows, let me know in the comments, but I think it might be Joy valve gear, kind of like on the London and Northwestern Railway G2s. It's really, you can't really see it because of how fast the wheels are moving, but the bolts on the rods, or the crank pins on the coupling rods, actually rotate as the wheels are turning, which I think is genuinely such a cool little feature to have. They did not have to do that at all. They could have just left them, you know, they could have just left them well alone, but they didn't. They went ahead and they animated that, and I think that is genuinely such an amazing feature, and I have the utmost respect for them for that. Real quick, we're gonna go have a look inside the cab. Going to shut the injectors so that it's not super loud in here. If you pull the other cord there, then the secondary whistle is blown, but it doesn't look like that on the outside. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. But if you look here, the windows up front open, they spin. Yeah, they just spin around like that. That's very, very nice. I don't really know what these are. Up along the sides, maybe sandboxes. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on trains, I am just a enthusiast. Right there are the cylinder cocks. Up over here, looks like a jar of oil for lubricating the motion. There's a bucket full of water. If we come over here to this side of the cab, you can see a little tin of biscuits, just like the one we saw on the Night Owl. Then right there is a tea kettle, coffee cup thing. I don't know what that's called. I'm English, not British. Up here is the lamp. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. I love having the little lamp on in here. It makes it feel a lot brighter, especially when going through tunnels. We're going to pop ourselves back over here. And if you look here, I'm going to zoom in. There's the pipe. This is a rule book on the Lancashire-Yorkshire Railway. I think that's the Bible. I could be wrong. Someone somewhere has made a comment about it. I think it was Dark DJ Productions made some sort of comment about it. Don't remember what specifically, but you know, what do I know? Go ahead and adjust that a little bit. We're losing speed, but I want to build up boiler pressure. If we look here, this is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Amazing little touches to have here in the cab. It's such a nicely detailed model. Then they went the extra mile by adding all those extra little details as well, like the books and whatnot. Absolutely amazing. It makes the world feel so much more lived in to see little knickknacks like that in the cabs of these locomotives. I love it. Despite the fact that these engines have fairly large driving wheels for a tank engine, they were amazingly pretty good at climbing hills from what I've been able to tell. Like, this is a 7-coach train, and yet it's going up these inclines pretty well. Like, obviously it's a little bit of a struggle for it, but it's not like it's, you know, coming to a standstill, you know, super easily. It's got some really good power on it, even though they were classified 2P under LMS and VR power classifications. In my head, since these things were tank engines, I've kind of always seen them as mixed traffic engines, not true passenger engines, especially since they have the same wheel diameter as It's either a hall or a grange. A Great Western Hall or Grange. I don't remember which one specifically. I'm sure someone out there knows the diameter. I think it's 5 foot 8 inches. But yeah, pretty decent tractive effort. So I can see these pulling any sort of train, especially since they were branch line engines. That was their main thing, if I recall. They could often be seen on branch lines pulling suburban passenger services, but they were also capable of working the main line because a good number of the class were fitted with water scoops. I don't know if that's represented on the Caledonia Works engines, or if that's only represented on specific versions of the class in pack. But they were also seen working as station pilots whenever they had branch line duties being taken over by larger engines, or even, you know, much later on they'd be taken over by DMUs or be shut down altogether, so they'd be reallocated as slightly more powerful station pilots. So yeah, pretty versatile locomotives. It's a shame that only one of them is preserved, because personally I think something like this would be perfect to have on a little heritage railway, especially since it's very unique having this 242 wheel arrangement, which is one thing that I absolutely love about it. The fact that it's such a unique wheel arrangement. You don't really see this in many places. The only other railways I can think of that had locomotives of this wheel arrangement were the Furness Railway, the Northeastern Railway, and the Great Eastern Railway. And then you would see this on some narrow gauge tank engines in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. Possibly the UK as well, but I'm not 100% sure on how accurate that is. We look here, still climbing uphill, but we're not doing too terribly at the moment. Oh, boiler has been primed, not good. You do not want the water to be that high up in the boiler. If you overfill it, then the boiler can become primed and it causes all sorts of issues. If you want an example of what kind of issues it can cause, look up the Peppercorn A2 Pacific Blue Peter. It had a incident because its boiler was pretty severely primed. Oh dear, losing a lot of speed here. Kind of have to pick and choose here. Do I want to lose more speed or more boiler pressure? Right now, I'd be fine with losing like just a tiny little bit of boiler pressure to keep speed up, because we've got a pretty long climb ahead of ourselves here. Just gonna try out the different camera views real quick. There we go. Here's one that I like. Just gonna get a couple shots of it going by. Now you can do Control B. So I don't know if you noticed that or not, but if you do Control Spacebar, then the whistle can play alternative sounds as compared to the normal sound, which is this. You can also do the same with Control B, which I think is a really cool feature. Although in real life, you typically wouldn't pull the higher pitched one because I believe that's supposed to be the brake whistle, similar to how it is on the Great Western Railway. There we are. Boiler pressures should start climbing hopefully soon. Steam chest pressure is going down a little bit, but boiler pressure should be climbing now that I've got my fire mass up a little bit higher. Boiler water level is also fine. I'll go ahead and open the water injectors as soon as it gets back down to 0.6. But for the time being, it should be alright. Ooh, there's an engine coming down. This is also a Caledonia Works design. It's the T26. Yeah, the Great Eastern Railway T26. Coming down light engine. Seems to be in a bit of a hurry, especially for a light engine move. I wonder what's up. Still got a long way to go on this climb, and we are slowing down quite drastically, which is not favorable at all. Gonna try everything that I can not to stall, but kind of down on boiler pressure right now, which is not good at all. And I have absolutely no idea how close we are to the summit. Personally, I don't really think we're anywhere close to the summit now that I think about it, because if we go way up here, you can kind of see it's still uphill, and it's going to continue like this for a good while, and I'd rather not have to stop for a blow up. It'd be rather disappointing if I stalled. I think we can make it. I think we can make it. Got some sparks flying out the funnel now. Gonna shut the firebox. Let's get the blower on. While I'm thinking about it, go ahead and open the dampers too, if I can remember where they are. There we go. Come on, you. Don't stall on me now. Oh, we're so close. Come on. I can tell it's trying. We're just steadily slowing down to a crawl. I should have been paying more attention to my boiler pressure. But it's raising faster, which is definitely good. Now that we have the blower and the dampers going, it's definitely helping a good bit. Just need to get a little more water in the boiler to help us out some too. Might not be the best idea, but I'd like to maximize steam generation at the moment. Alright, I'll get the fire mass up just a little bit higher. And then I'll go ahead and stop putting water in the boiler once we're at about 90%. I usually check the percentage, not just the pounds. One thing that I also have to bear in mind is that this engine's water capacity is very limited. I believe it's 1,300 gallons, which is not bad by any means. But that's also why these engines would have been fitted with water scoops, because again, limited water capacity since they're tank engines. Just gotta get that a little higher. Little higher. We'll get it down to 866 gallons. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Definitely have a long ways to go until we get to the next station, and I think when we get there, that's probably when I'll end the video, since we've got a good bit of distance left until we get there. Let's see. We're here, and the next station is all the... yeah, Stainmore Summit's all the way up over here. That's the down main... oh, that's not even a station. This is just the summit of the hill. I think to make this a little interesting, when we get up to the summit, I'll go ahead and fill up with water, and then we'll coast down to the next station. I like the little attention to detail that they had a little water column up there at the top of the hill, because many engines who would have had to do a slow slog up the hill probably would have been severely dehydrated. If engines could really talk, I can only imagine how much they would have been complaining having to climb up this godforsaken incline. Now all we have to do is wait for someone to make their own interpretation of the Licky incline and release it to the public. That will 100% be a ridiculous challenge for anyone to have to deal with. But you can make some nice scenarios out of it. Like, you can make the Licky Banker, Big Bertha, you know, do some stuff like that in LMS days. Do some scenarios with the Victory Works 9F. Heck, you could even do some scenarios with the British Railways built Class 35s. I think they worked at Licky, now that I'm thinking about it. Or at least a couple of them did. They had them run in pairs. Then again, I don't remember if they were bankers or if they had them run like that to just pull trains up the hill, or if it was some other really steep incline. I just have very vague memories of hearing that Class 35s would run in pairs trying to go uphill. And I believe it was Licky, but they could only run in pairs instead of 3 at a time, so you'd have to have 2 engine crews instead of just one controlling 3 engines. apologies for the long pauses in conversation. Have a couple distractions going on at the moment. Sometimes it's just hard for me to come up with things to say to keep the video entertaining for you guys. I'm gonna reposition the camera up over here now. So yeah, apologies for that, but I hope that at least someone out there is enjoying these videos, because I definitely like making them, and I'd like for them to actually get off the ground a little bit so that I have something more fun to do on the channel that doesn't require as much editing. But I'm definitely enjoying myself, that's for sure. I think I can go ahead and lower the reverser a little bit more now. Alright, we're going to go in the cab, and I'm going to close the dampers. I'm just going to keep the blower on. I don't have all the heat controls for these things fully memorized, so sometimes I just have to go into the cab and control them manually, or press escape and look at the keyboard layout, but I don't want to have to keep doing the latter because that interrupts the gameplay a little bit. Alright, boiler pressure is 120 and climbing. That is perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the blower off. And then load up the firebox with some more coal, get some more heat going, and put our water level back up to 0.90. Good, good. We're increasing in speed. I don't quite know if the gradient's leveling out. It's 1 in 68 right now, so it may have leveled out a little bit, so that might be helping. But yeah, big thing that was getting to me was the fact that my boiler pressure was down to 90 psi, which is not something you ever want to have happen when climbing uphill. You want to keep it as high as possible. And from what I found, especially with smaller engines, is the best way to do that is to get the fire mass up as high as possible to allow for the engine to be free steaming. Well, at least as close to free steaming as it can get. We have a look here at the back of the train. Oh, game glitched a little bit. That was a little dicey. I was right, it crashed. You can see some of the detail on the coach, though. Got a chain right there. I don't know. Oop. Ooh. Very nicely modeled chain here on the buffer beam. Very pixelated, but as far as I'm concerned, it's alright. The buffer textures look fine. Textures on the back look a little pixelated in places, but then again, I don't have any of the Railworks enhancement packs installed, so maybe that'll look nicer on them. But as nice as these coaches are, there's definitely a couple of little minor discrepancies on them. But all in all, I think they look great. I think these look absolutely fantastic, and I'm definitely looking forward to when Caledonia Works is able to make more Lancashire and Yorkshire locos. The ones that I'm definitely looking the most forward to are the Class 8 and the Class 8 tank engines, or the Dreadnought tanks. So yeah, the Class 8 460s and the Dreadnought tank engines. I am definitely looking forward to those. Those are some other L&YR engines that I am definitely a huge fan of, with this one being at the top of the list. As for my favorite engine by them, in terms of ones that I have, this is definitely one of them. But in terms of ones that I don't have at the moment, probably gonna have to be the, gosh, which one? They have so many. Probably the Great Eastern Railway N7, as it's one of my favorite classes of steam locomotive in general. Now that I've actually remembered the class, the favorite Caledonia Works DLC that I currently have installed is the Pickersgill Caledonian Railway 191. I absolutely love those engines. I love the kind of sad story behind them that they weren't really all that successful and got superseded by the Black Fives whenever they were introduced. I love the liveries. I love that they look small yet powerful at the exact same time, and I just love, really love the fact that you know, they have that slightly different style of Walsh Arts valve here, where they have that, you know, the extra rod on the right-hand side, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. It just looks so different in all, like, just these really small ways that not a whole lot of people would really notice upon first glance. That kind of just draws me to them, if that makes any sense. They just have such a presence with them. It's kind of why they stick out to me so much, and I'm really glad that the people at Caledonia Works have been able to bring the model to Train Simulator. Speed's definitely fluctuating a good bit here. I don't really know what's up with that. I think it's because my boiler pressure started dropping. Keeping the reverser at 46% will help to maintain speed and slightly increase it, but it doesn't do my boiler pressure any favors at the moment. I think I need to have more of a balance between fire mass and the water in the boiler. Fortunately, I believe the summit's coming up, so once we get there and fill up with water, get some more pressure in the boiler, it should be a pretty much downhill slope from there. Alright, we'll go ahead and get the water back up to 0.90 once again. Fire mass should be fine as is. And yeah, we'll get to the next station that's after the summit. Up here's the bridge. Here's the set of sidings. Love this. This is yeah, this is the J27, well, the P2/P3 pack by Caledonia Works with the wagon pack behind it. I'm kind of wondering if this may have been why I was having some issues with it, because I don't think I had it installed at the time when I got the route, now that I'm thinking about it. But it looks really sharp. It's got the little tank cart right up here. Some barrels, coal wagon, some vans. Oops, did not mean to spin around like that. Some more coal wagons, more vans. Little flat wagon with a tank on it. Just gonna go ahead and close the dampers once again. Alright, water column is coming up just up ahead. I'm going to go ahead and slow down so that we can fill up our tanks. Provided I can actually stop in the right place. Alright, apply the brakes. Oh. And I think, yeah, I overshot it. That being said, let's see. Nope. Alright, we're gonna have to back up, unfortunately. I really wish I was better at that. You know, at stopping in the right place. Guess I need a little more practice, but that's okay. Let's just gently back up. Technically, you're supposed to do a whistle code to be able to back up like this, but I don't really know what that is. And stop. Now it should work. There we go. Water's going up. There we are, full tank of 1,340 imperial gallons. Go ahead and release the brakes. Set the reverser up. Set the brakes to running. And we're good to go. Don't want to put too much power down since we're still building up boiler pressure. I think I can turn the blower off for now. Technically we didn't stop for long, so I don't really think you need to have the cylinder cocks open after a stop like that. But you know, I don't really think it matters all that much. Looking at the map, we've got a pretty good distance to go. We're a good few miles away from the next station, but if I recall, the journey's all downhill from here. So once we get there, I'm just gonna roll and then set on the locomotive's handbrakes to control the train going downhill. There we go. And we begin our downhill descent. This might honestly be the point where I just stop caring about the speed limit as we roll down the hill, but so long as I don't derail, I'd certainly hope it would still be okay. Let's see, I'm guessing we've got a good maybe, I don't know, 4 miles till we get there, if that, probably less. Absolutely love this engine and this consist. I might get the wagon pack actually and see how this would look with a goods train. As like I said, I kind of see these engines as more versatile mixed traffic engines than just strictly passenger tank engines. Maybe I'll pick it up during their summer sale, whenever that is. I'm guessing in August. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below when you think the sale is going to be. Got some good speed going here, and we're about halfway to the station. Gonna start applying the brakes a little bit, get it down to about 20 inches. Maybe 19. Some more. There we go, 18 on the dot. That should help to hold speed a little bit more. Nope, we're still increasing in speed. Still increasing. Alright, I think we should be okay for now. Famous last words. Station's just up ahead. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the brakes some more so that we can have a nice gentle stop into the station. May as well hit the brake whistle too. Let the guard know that we need to stop. Gosh, I love this route so much. Oh, there's the station. We might overrun it. We're definitely overrunning it. When's the next station now that I'm thinking about it? Yeah, I don't want to have to back up into it, so we're just going to go on ahead to the next one. When is the next station? Next station is... what was the name of it? KS? Is it KS? Yes, I believe it's KS. So, we'll keep rolling down the hill until we get to KS. I'm gonna go ahead and slow the train down. Because we can't go any faster than 45 miles per hour. I love this bridge so much. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Go ahead and get a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video. Might want to hide the... There we go. Hide that. That's better. Might try and get a couple more here and there, just to see how they look. I would have loved one on the bridge if I could remember the controls soon enough, but oh well, it is what it is. think for now, for the rest of the drive down to the bottom of the hill, I'm gonna go and just sit in silence for a little bit, and we're just going to enjoy the little run. Alright, so I think that's going to be it for today's little quick drive scenario. Like I said, we were going to stop here because the final destination was quite a ways away, and I believe I've run out of time to record this, but I hope you all enjoyed this. I know I certainly did. I made a lot of mistakes during this drive, but I still had fun regardless, and I hope that I was able to provide some level of entertainment for those of you who stuck around to watch the whole thing. And I will be making more videos like this in the not-so-distant future. I will probably be recording another one in 2 days' time to upload onto the channel. And I might do something that was made by Victory Works. Maybe I'll do DSG DDR. Who knows? You'll just have to wait and see. In any case, this is Hiawatha Productions signing off. I will see you all on the next one.